Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Welcome back to another episode of the Shrimp Tank. We come to you virtually from Seattle and the greater Pacific Northwest. Listen, if you want to learn how to start, grow, or run a successful business, and in the end, don't we all want to have a successful business if we're doing that? This right here is the podcast for you. You don't need an MBA. You don't need any of that stuff. Just listen to us every week, and I guarantee you're going to get everything that you need hearing from the brightest business minds in the area. We like to say this is where street smarts and book smarts collide. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dan Whedon, and my co-host today is the freshly minted Renton City Council, back from a vacation in Hawaii, James Alberson. James, we'll be talking with you in just a second. Welcome back, and again, congratulations. Our guest today is Shawn Cucciardi. Shawn is a longtime friend, fellow golfer, and we get out on the links once in a while. Shawn is the vice president of golf operations for Columbia Hospitality. Now, it may be officially the off season, but we're going to be talking some golf, and I can't wait to dig into that. But there's more to Columbia Hospitality than golf. Columbia Hospitality is a Seattle-based hospitality management and consulting company with over 25 years of experience, featuring a portfolio of award-winning hotels, conference centers, distinctive venues, private and public golf facilities, restaurants and bars, residential properties, and, as we were chatting before the podcast, a great winery in Walla Walla. I believe it's in Walla Walla. Shawn, welcome. We'll be with you in just a second. Everybody, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, YouTube. James, what are we?
We are ubiquitous.
We are ubiquitous. We come to you from a lot of different places, a dozen cities, including the mothership in Atlanta. We're in Boston, Charleston, Boca Raton. There's a new one in Columbus, Ohio, new in Knoxville, and I think we're coming soon to the Big Apple in New York. Now, before we bring on Shawn, James, welcome back from Hawaii.
No, not Hawaii. Hawaii is wonderful. I went a little bit farther, Bora Bora.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. You were in Bora Bora. Well, goody for you. How was Bora Bora?
Oh, it was fantastic. One thing checked off the bucket list, but plan on returning sometime in the not so distant future. Hopefully in the next 5 years or so. If you haven't been there, you have to go. You have to find a way. It is absolutely fantastic.
Well, it was a great reward for you on a hard-fought victory. But look, I want to talk about something else more timely. Barb and I got out all of the Christmas decorations. The Pep girls are coming this weekend, and they're 4 and 2. So we've got some old and new traditions going on. What is the Alberson clan? What kind of holiday traditions do you guys have?
Oh, I don't know. I don't. I've been married 6 years, 3 stepdaughters. I don't know if we've developed any major family traditions. However, the girls go with their father later on Christmas Day. So my wife and I, one of our Christmas traditions is to go have dinner at a place called Ye's Wok, which is in Newcastle. So it's fantastic Chinese food. We that's our Christmas tradition so far.
That's almost a little bit like it's the Christmas Story, where they go to Chinese for dinner. Isn't that right?
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's where we got it. It was born out of necessity one year. But my personal Christmas tradition, I know I'm not alone with this. Every year, I have to break out the great Christmas movie. And yes, it is a Christmas movie, Die Hard. So I'm looking forward to that. That is my Christmas tradition.
All right. Well, hey, thanks, James. Shawn, I'm going to bring you in on traditions here. First of all, Shawn Cucciardi, it's been a while. It's been too long. We got to get on the golf course. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Dan. It's great to be here.
So look, one of the traditions of golf, and I think you'd agree with me, is there's rules and there's etiquette. Would you agree to that?
Absolutely.
So let's say you and I were playing golf and I'm on a green side bunker. I was a par 3. I hit it in the bunker. I'm in the green side bunker, or I'm sorry, you're in the green side bunker, and you're about ready to hit. Now, the corner of your eye, you see I'm about to putt a 40-foot putt for, I think it was for birdie. I'm gonna attempt a 40-foot putt. And you think, well, Dan's going to wait for me to come out of the bunker, but I don't. I putt the ball and I drain it. And then I got a little dance that I do going down to pick it up, and you're still at the bunker. What's the ruling on that? What would you have said to me? Would I have to re-putt it? Would I have a 2-stroke penalty? What's the rule? I need a ruling.
Well, I tell you what, I think there's a certain application where rules are really important. There's other applications where they're not, Dan. And so I would have congratulated you, and I would have said, back off, because I'm going to hold my bunker shot and tie you on this hole. I think we can sometimes get too mired with rules, right? If we were playing in a legitimate match play event and I was further away from you, yes, I could make you replay the shots in match play, but to me, it's more about relationships and having fun. And I would have celebrated your 40-foot putt, and I would have held my bunker shot right on top of you.
Well, you know what? And I knew you might say that. We're going to talk about some different rules and etiquette as we go along on some things that may be going right. But James, I had to give James a hard time, because that's exactly what happened when we were playing over at Fairwood with another guest, Jordan Babineau. I was in the bunker. I did not quite hole it out, but I did go up and down, I think, James. So we walked away. Everybody was happy with that, but I had to give James a little bit of a hard time. So serious
recall
question.
That incident a lot differently than I do. I don't recall you being in the bunker, maybe because I was such in the zone of sinking that beautiful putt. I have no idea. That's all I remember.
That's all he remembers. He was seeing the white lights. Hey, Shawn, tell us a little bit, because some folks may know the properties that Columbia Hospitality managed, but they don't know, they never heard of Columbia Hospitality. Talk a little bit about Columbia Hospitality as a whole and your role as Vice President of Golf Operations.
So absolutely, you mentioned it well. We're a Seattle-based company, over 25 years old, and we really are involved with everything hospitality. I think that's the core of our fabric, is bringing that hospitality approach to everything that we do. We're a fun company. We're a vibrant company. We're values first. We're very mission driven. We're flexible. We're adaptable. We elevate creativity. We're inclusive. We're rewarding. We got trailblazing spirit. And that's what we bring to all of our properties. You mentioned we have a number of different verticals, conference centers and restaurants and bars and hotels and golf courses. So from a golf perspective, here in Western Washington, we manage both courses at Gold Mountain out in Bremerton. We've got McCormick Woods Golf Club in Port Orchard, Washington. We have Echo Falls Golf Club up in Snohomish, beautiful Semiahmoo Golf and Country Club up north Shore in Tacoma, Sunland up in Sequim. So, we've got a good footprint here in the Northwest.
I didn't realize that you owned all those or operated all those, or however you want to call it. I've played at nearly every one of those courses. So now that adds an extra layer of, familiarity to it. Shawn, I don't think you can talk with anyone in the hospitality business, especially in the leadership area, without asking the question and having the discussion about how hard you were hit and how you handled the whole COVID-19 issue and the pandemic 2020. Talk to us a little bit about your experience there, and really kind of maybe still digging out of it. How would you talk to us about that?
You bet. So I think it depends on what kind of vertical within our company that you'd be talking with. Some were hit very hard, others flourished. And for example, the game of golf flourished. But from a leadership perspective, navigating these times, every day was different, every week was different, right? And this whole impact on the hospitality industry affected everyone differently and individuals differently. I know that everyone on this call today was affected differently, but we led with our values. The values of Columbia Hospitality are the decision-making filter for every question that comes our way. And so I think when you stick with those values, it actually makes making decisions pretty darn easy. I mentioned that we're flexible and adaptable, and that was key because things were changing, ever so quickly. So we just had to make, quick decisions, the best decisions we could for the individual properties that we run. We are not a one size fits all company, and what may happen at one hotel doesn't happen in another hotel. The same can be said for all of our golf courses and our restaurants. And so we would work together with our team. That's kind of our secret sauce is our team. Without our team, we are nothing. So we have to provide them the resources that they need to excel in their job each and every day, and to sit down and be fully transparent and make the decisions that were necessary to, weather that COVID storm. And now that we're, coming out of the back end of it, there is no question that we're all stronger because of it.
Dan, can I ask a quick follow-up real quick? When you think about how you handle things and like you said, the various properties and the various divisions, would you say there's one or two things that, came out on the back end that maybe is consistent all across it, any kind of new way of looking at things, any genius attacks you had during the time that actually will be, just kind of a permanent part of how you do things within the company?
No question. And I think we would probably lead with technology. We've always been on the forefront of technology at all of our properties, but even more, it gave us time to kind of reflect, right? To kind of hit that reset button. We're kind of calling 2022 the great reset, right? As we come out of this, and just to really leverage those opportunities. Who would have ever thought 5 years ago that we'd be using platforms like this to have this type of a program, or from a sales perspective? Can you imagine if I would have, in 2019, if you were trying to maybe run a golf tournament somewhere and I said, hey, instead of meeting in person, let's jump on this crazy thing called Zoom or Microsoft Teams, right? Now it's just become the norm. And I think it makes us more efficient. And so it's things like that we've adapted and rolled out at all of our properties, where it's just easier for us to communicate and engage with our customers.
Fair enough.
Hey, Shawn, I started playing golf in the 70s. I was 13 when I first started. I played in the 70s and in the 80s. And it seemed at the time that, a golf course was owned and managed either by an individual or maybe like a family or family run, businesses, or maybe the city owned and managed them. And then somewhere, and I don't think it's been in that far in the past, where it all of a sudden became really difficult for anybody to manage them. And all of a sudden, management companies started coming to the forefront. Talk a little bit about that progression in the game of golf, where management companies like Columbia Hospitality are actually the ones running everything from the pro shop to the restaurant and bar.
Yeah, you're exactly correct. Golf did come from that. There was a lot of, family-owned golf courses, right? I would almost relate it to that of a farmer. And, a lot of times these properties have been in their families for many, many years, and there's this emotional attachment to it. But the world passes you by, right? Just with the evolution of what we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Think of, human resources and how complicated that's become over the years. Legal liability, accounting and reporting, marketing, digital marketing, online social reputation management, all these things that if you're just a mom and pop or a sole proprietor, how do you become a true expert in all those domains? And that's where a Columbia Hospitality come in with many, many, many domain experts and just elevate that business and show success to that ownership group that they couldn't do alone. We become their trusted partner. Ultimately they have the decision-making ability, but partnering with us, we partner with them. We're very fortunate to be able to partner with the properties that we partner with, and together we're just a stronger team. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, and it allows a lot of our ownership groups to stay focused on strategy and growth versus the day-to-day operations, right? I relate that to, let us worry about the income statement, you worry about your balance sheet, right? And so who's focusing on the balance sheet and the growth and the strategic growth of your enterprise?
Tell us a little bit about your journey to where you are now, Shawn, and what you like most about where you are right now and what you're doing.
You bet. So, boy, my journey is interesting. My father started me playing golf when I was about 2 years old, out at just a public golf course in Billings, Montana. And for whatever reason, as a young child, I just took to the game. I was able to focus, and I enjoyed it, and I played a ton of golf. So that led me on to play competitive junior golf, on through high school golf, up to college. And in college, I realized, after a couple of years that I wasn't so intrigued about playing the game for a living, but I certainly wanted to be on the business side of golf. And so I really focused, kind of my education for that business degree, finance degree, had an amazing opportunity right out of college to go to work for the PGA of America. That's what brought me to the Northwest. I worked for the regional offices out of Olympia, the Pacific Northwest section of the PGA. Spent about 10 years with them, but I knew I wanted more. And I always had kind of that entrepreneurial spirit. And so I put a group together and we actually bought a golf course, and I managed that for just over 10 years. And I just, kind of what I just said a few minutes ago about having to be that expert in all of those different fields. I wanted more. I wanted to join a team of domain experts. And so, I got to know the CEO of our company, John Oppenheimer, back in the early 2000s. We were actually looking to build a hotel at the golf course we had owned. And that relationship just, it never ended. We kept talking, and it's just amazing sometimes how a relationship, maybe when something occurs. And so, back in 2015, I had an opportunity to join that company and to take over and lead the golf division. And it's just been so refreshing with all of the team members in the field at all of our properties, and just the incredible team that I get to work with, the privilege to work with every day. That's what I love most, just being around people that can challenge me, I can challenge others, and it gets you excited to go to work every day.
Well, Shawn, we are now excited to take a quick break so that we can. It's like the beverage cart just came by on the course, so we're gonna take a quick break to hear from today's spotlight sponsor. And when we come back with more and with our guest Shawn Cucciardi for our Hot or Not section of the show, I'm going to ask Shawn about 12-hole golf courses. Don't walk away. We'll be right back with more of the Shrimp Tank.
Sandler Training specializes in ongoing training, coaching, and consulting to help your companies increase their top and bottom line. As a business owner or leader, are you completely frustrated with the lack of consistent performance from your salespeople? Concerned the team is not putting in enough new, strong opportunities in the pipeline? Disappointed at your team's inability to create value instead of selling on price? Or fed up with losing valuable margin due to unnecessary price discounting? If the end result of these and other challenges is a roller coaster ride of performance, consistently missed sales forecasts, or stagnant business growth, Sandler may be a fit for you. Sandler works with sales leaders and their sales team to refine their selling process, put key management processes in place, and improve execution to create sustained, improved performance and results. Check us out at www.toptier.sandler.com.
All right, welcome back to the Shrimp Tank, where we interview the best and brightest CEOs and business thought leaders in the Puget Sound and beyond. Our guest today is Shawn Cucciardi, Vice President of Golf Operations for Columbia Hospitality. And our next segment is, well, you know it, Hot or Not.
James, I think you've made this your own. The whole introduction of Hot or Not. I think you got to brand that. So, Shawn, James and I are going to pepper you with questions about golf, about life, about business, about a whole lot of things. At the end, you win absolutely nothing, but we hope you have some fun with us along the way. So, Shawn, I was listening to a podcast interview with Davis Love III maybe a couple months ago, and he's gone a lot into some of the design work and such. And I think he's designed in Virginia a 12-hole golf course. And he talked about, being kind of a traditionalist. That was hard for him, but he sees it as kind of a coming of age for getting more people out playing golf. Hot or not, Shawn, 12-hole golf courses?
I don't think they're hot right now, but they certainly can be. I think there's an opportunity there to seize that. There's other golf courses too that actually have 18 holes, but they do 3 6-hole loops. So you could actually play 6 or 12 or 18. And so I think that's the innovation we need. We need to be, more flexible and adaptable to the needs of our customer base. And maybe you don't have time to play 18 holes and 12 works for you. So let's make it happen. Let's get to yes.
I actually hadn't heard of that, Dan. And when I think about my golf game, it's right around the 12, 13 hole where you start losing focus. My arms get tired. I don't know. Maybe I've had one too many beers. So, hey, you know what? I'm going to be looking for that next 12 hole golf.
Hey, James, I just want to remind you that putt you made was on hole 16. So you would not have ever made that putt.
Well, I saw you in the bunker and I just wanted to mess with you, I guess. Maybe that was the case. I don't know. Although I still have no recall. All right, Shawn. Hot or not, I'm excited. We have in Renton, Washington here, we have a currently in construction, a Top Golf. Excited to have that completed. Hot or not, Top Golf.
Oh, it's clearly hot. If you look at what Top Golf's done, since their explosion onto the market scene, absolutely it's hot. And I think it's so wonderful that we're bringing this game to the masses, that they're really seeing it as a hip thing to do, a fun thing to do. It's inclusive. Everyone can be involved with it. And the more people we can get in a social environment, hanging out with their family, hanging out with their friends, and there's a little golf club in their hand, it's hot.
Hey, Shawn, I'm going to go to something that back in the day, I think we're probably about the same age, would have been thought of as taboo, but it's more popular now. And so I want your take, hot or not, music on the golf carts as you're playing.
I'm going to go hot. I'm not going to go that old school. I think, again, this is what's moving the game forward and making it more fun. I still do believe that there are applications in different settings where it's probably not the right thing to do, but in many, many, many ways, it's absolutely the right thing to do. And to have it piped in on driving ranges, to have it piped in around practice facilities, the research about what music does to our moods and the way we behave and the way we act. And so I'm hot on it. We're hot on it. Let's bring it.
Just wait till I start blasting Metallica when we're playing next, Shawn. I'll do a little Enter Sandman.
I've got no issues with that. That's good music there, Dan. I was going to say, that sounds like a Pandora's box just waiting to come to a not a good ending. But hey, we'll see what kind of music I hear on the next golf course. So, Shawn, I understand you have a twin sister. Is that correct?
Not a twin sister. No, I've got an older sister and a younger sister, but no.
Oh, you know what? That's my fault. I thought you and Tiffany were twins.
No, boy, she'd be upset if you heard that, because she's quite a bit younger than me. So I think you may have just unfortunately insulted her, but that's okay.
Goodness.
I'll make it
in trouble, Dan. I had bad intel. Forgive me, Shawn. So I'll change up. I think I know the answer to this, but there are some people who aren't golf people. They like to do other things. Hot or not, golf or fishing? Which one is hotter?
Wow, it depends on my mood. I will tell you, there are times, because I have the privilege to work in the industry, I'm around golf all the time, and there are times where I just love to get away and do some fishing. So I think they're both hot. I really do. I encourage, some diversity, mix it up a little bit, see different aspects of the great outdoors. I'm hot on both.
So jumping off of hot or not just a little bit, and I want to dive back into golf course operations a little bit and what you had touched on, because it's not easy to run a golf course. There's a lot of moving parts. You have employees, you've got maintenance things, you've got just a number of different things. What do you see moving forward? And we hope the pandemic is in the rearview mirror. But golf has been okay with, through that because of that. What do you see for the just the avid golfer, even the casual golfer? What can they expect to see from golf courses over the next, say, 3 to 5 years?
Well, I think if you came to the Columbia Hospitality golf courses, it would be first and foremost about engagement, right? We've had so many new golfers come to the game since the pandemic, and that's because it was really the first thing that was reopened after businesses got closed down, and months went by and you could not play softball, or you could not go fishing, you could not play basketball, you could not play soccer. And so, these athletic or competitive people or people that love the outdoors came to the game of golf. It was a gift, and I think it's a one-time gift. And now it's about engaging these people, keeping them engaged and keeping them customers. So it's vibrant programming, it's unique program, it's diversification, it's about fun, it's about experiences that maybe exceeded your expectations. So that's what we're leading with for sure.
So this probably is more of a question for the next segment, but I'll ask it now anyway. You have a lot of golf courses that you're obviously kind of over the operations thereof. I'm curious, what's your favorite golf course that is under your purvey, let's say?
Wow, I don't know that I have a favorite. I think and I'm not saying that to be politically correct. I'm saying it because I have the ability to appreciate the unique design and architecture of different golf courses. And so for me, it's understanding why the architect did what they did and how it makes you play the particular course, the particular hole, the particular shot. And so to me, I probably approach it differently, right? And so I could go through all of the golf courses and tell you some of my favorite holes, but I just appreciate the uniqueness of all. That's the beauty of the game is every golf course provides different challenges, different weather elements. And that's what keeps me coming back. I just love the unique challenges.
Fair enough.
So I was waiting for McCormick Woods because I know that's the golf course you were at and owned for 10 years. So I thought that might pop up, but there's other great courses out there. And I know that you mentioned, the Gold Mountain courses and Echo Falls and all of that. Shawn, golf's a hard game. It's, and I think people, especially if they're newer, all of a sudden figuring out it's hard to hit that little ball straight, first of all, sometimes at all, and then straight and all of that. There's been a proliferation from what I've seen of golf teaching on YouTube, on TV, visually. And sometimes I worry a little bit about the PGA professional, the guy or gal who are, hands-on and helping with that. And I'm guessing there's got to be a balance. Talk about what you see from the ability through technology to learn a lot. And I've gotten a lot of great tips, but I still go to somebody. Talk about that balance between the PGA teaching pro and what you see on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, as of right now, I don't see a digital replacement for that in-person instruction with your local PGA golf professional. All of our bodies, all of our swings, they are all unique. And while we can go on and learn and read and watch videos, I encourage you to do it. There's a fine line between, entering that mental space of being overloaded with information. And we just technically, there's too many thoughts going through our minds, and you can't perform under that. And so, I think to have it be simplified, to have it be kind of customized the way we communicate it to every student learns differently, whether you're a visual learner, a kinesthetic learner, an audio learner. And so a really good teacher is going to figure out how best to communicate with their student. And I just don't see a replacement for that. Again, great information, but I would just be careful that you're trying to apply all this information to your own game, because more likely than not, it's not going to end up real well. And you're going to get frustrated. It's going to take, you're thinking you're taking a step forward, but you're taking two back.
James, I'm just going to really quick, as you were talking, I was thinking about this. I think there's a real need for that hands-on, especially if you're a beginner and just learning. I think once you've been established, you can pick up. So I get a lot of great little, I'd never seen that before. And you can apply that once you've got a little bit of knowledge and you understand things, whether it's chipping around the green or you can pick up those little nuggets. But I think it's so important in the beginning to have somebody to help you.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. To get those core fundamentals down right early on, so you're not having to relearn them, will take you a long ways.
Shawn, what's one piece of advice you'd give maybe a young person who wants to really do what you did and maybe ascend to the level in the business of golf operations and that sort of thing, and maybe they're just kind of starting off or they have that vision ahead of them? What one piece of advice would you give them to put them on the path to success?
Yeah, without question, right? Golf is about relationships. It always has been, and I believe it always will be. And so if you have some sort of a desire, no matter where it is within the golf industry, pick up the phone and call someone. Call your golf professional, call the manager of your club, call the restaurant manager, call somebody to spark that conversation. I guarantee it, they're going to listen. Again, they're going to want to develop that young person and feed that excitement. Pick up the phone and call me, send me an email, whatever I can do to encourage that. That's where it starts, is to develop that relationship, ask the question, and I think they'll be well on their way.
Good advice.
Well, I can't believe we're well on our way to. Now I'm thinking of the 6-hole breakup, because now we're going to about hit in the last 6 holes. We've got one more break to take, and when we come back after hearing from our corporate sponsors, when we come back with our guest Shawn Cucciardi for our famous. I'm getting tongue-tied here, James. Our famous Plead the Fifth section of the show. I'm going to ask Shawn about slow play on the golf course. Don't walk away. We'll be right back with more of the Shrimp Tank.
Plead the Fifth is brought to you by our corporate sponsors: Ideal Life 360, Cornerstone Financial, First Underwriters Insurance, the Kitsap Sun newspaper, and BC Fitness Studio. Please visit our website at www.shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle to learn more about these terrific companies. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back to the Shrimp Tank, where we talk to the best and brightest CEOs and business thought leaders in the Puget Sound and beyond. Our guest today is Shawn Cucciardi, Vice President of Golf Operations for Columbia Hospitality. In our next segment, we're going to put him on the hot seat with Plead the Fifth.
Yes, sir. Plead the Fifth. We're going to keep peppering you with maybe even harder questions too. No, you're not a fair catcher, though. I think we're gonna hear it all from you. But if you have to plead the fifth, you only get to plead the fifth once. And again, at the end, you win absolutely nothing. Slow play. It's one of the bugaboos. Experienced golfers hate it, and it keeps newer golfers away. I'm curious. You've seen it from the management side. Whose fault is it? Is it the player or is it the golf course?
I think it's both. I think oftentimes that, you get those new golfers, they've not had the opportunity to receive the proper training, just a general knowledge of what causes slow play. There's a lot of really easy fixes. They just don't understand what it is. To simplify it down is, if you're playing in a group of 4 golfers, you should always be able to see the group in front of you. Don't worry about what's happening behind you. It's no different than driving down I-5 on a busy day. You pay attention to that car in front of you. As long as you can see them, you're in good position. If you can't see them, here's just a quick, easy trick. Is the entire foursome doesn't have to stand around to watch Dan knock in that 2-foot putt, right? The last guy to putt on the green. Send a couple of people to the next tee to tee off while you're finishing up your 3-footer. There's really easy things we can do to speed it up to create the pace of play that everyone desires.
By the way, Shawn, if I have to make a 2-footer, somebody didn't give that to me, I'm not very happy right now. I think that should be, hey, Dan, it's good, pick it up. But anyway, James, pick it up for me here, buddy.
All right. And I agree. I've seen you play, Dan. No, seriously. Sometimes I've watched golf matches and, it goes into the final day. Somebody has this great lead and all of a sudden, man, the wheels fall off and there's just a meltdown. I think that may have happened sometime in a match I was watching this year. I'm curious, you can plead the fifth. What is your most epic failure on the golf course?
Wow, my most epic failure. It was probably when I first was turning pro. One of the pre-requirements to get into the PGA is to take what's called a playing ability test. And that's a mental test that, as a golfer, you never put yourself in that position. You have to go and play 36 holes in a day, and you know what the number is that you have to shoot. Normally, when you go play golf, you're just trying to do the best you can. You're trying to beat everyone else, and you don't know what that winning score is going to be. But before you tee off, you know what that winning score is. And I remember entering the last 9 holes, and I had a couple shots to give, and I just started thinking about it. It got to me, and I started playing too conservative. And that first time I took that test, I was plenty confident to pass, but I didn't pass. And interestingly enough, there's a statistic through the PGA that more people trying to pass that playing ability test miss by 1 shot. More people miss by 1 shot than the total numbers that pass it. And so it's a mental exercise, and was a good lesson, and I became stronger because of it. But that was an epic fail.
Fair enough.
So I've got my, I think this is my last kind of the former taboo. You know, when Terrell Hatton came out with his hoodie on, I think the Twitter sphere just blew up, and then the USA Men's Ryder Cup, they had hoodies. You know, golf has always had, you know, you got to wear this, you can't wear that, all of that. Are we going to get past a stage where somebody can, you know, within reason, can they just wear jeans and a hoodie out to play golf?
Absolutely. There's no question about it. It's already happening. And this is the positive change that needs to happen. You know, it's amazing. Look at private country clubs, and, you know, to go to the restaurant, there was certain attire. And if you were, you know, a female, you know, you couldn't wear your $250 jeans, but, you know, grandpa could be in there with his you know, corduroy pants from the 70s with soup stains on it, right? That was okay because it met dress code. And so, you know, we have to be relevant, right? We have to be relevant. And so bring it on. Let's be relevant. It's about having fun with your friends, and let's get away from having too many rules.
Fair enough. So let me ask you this. What is the best thing about the state of golf and the worst thing, would you say?
I think the best thing about the state of golf right now is just there's a buzz about it. You know, there's a buzz about it, and we're finally, you know, we've talked about bringing diversity to golf for a long time, and we're really starting to move that needle. And so that's a massive buzz. You know, it's just, I just love to see the inclusivity that's occurring in the game of golf. So that's awesome. You know, I think the negative side is, and I mentioned it earlier, is how can we continue to engage these people to keep them active in the game? If we think that we've won the battle and we let our guard down, you know, they're going to go somewhere else, right? They're going to find new things to do and other fun ways to you know, to spend their dollars and spend their time. And so we need to embrace what's happening. We need to continue to encourage it, engage them, and keep moving forward.
So since I messed up on Tiffany and the twin thing, I'm gonna bring her back in, but it's gonna be a little bit different. And I know you worked together when you were at McCormick Woods. I remember that's where I met Tiffany there. So if we asked Tiffany, what would be the one thing that Shawn could improve upon in his management style and his business style, in maybe in anything, what would be the one thing Tiffany would say Shawn could definitely improve this?
You know, I bet she would say that I say yes too often, right? And it's funny because that's a key thing in Columbia hospitality is the yes attitude. I mean, we are a company that gets to yes, and we don't use the words that are, you know, anonyms of that. That's just not in our vocabulary. But I tend to spread myself pretty thin, and but that's who I am. It's the way I'm wired, and I'm going to get to yes, and let's make it happen.
So I think it's important. I always ask this question during this segment, you know, when you're talking to business leaders and CEOs and all that kind of stuff, people who've achieved, you know, what would ascended to some high responsibility and that sort of thing. When you look back, what advice would you give your 18-year-old self, knowing what you know today?
Just surround yourself by talent. Every opportunity that you have, find that door that's cracked open and walk through it. Find that board table. Find that opportunity to volunteer. Find that opportunity to network. Surround yourself by talented people. The diversification from that, you know, you can't go through life alone. And so the more, you know, people that you surround yourself with, you can pick up the phone, you can send them a message, you know, and just having that network is so powerful. Treat people with respect, show respect, give respect, you know, network. And I believe that's absolutely a part of the secret sauce of advancing your career and advancing it in a manner that it's going to be rewarding and memorable.
So Shawn, you know, I know you spread yourself thin. I kind of do that a little bit myself. Let's take golf off the table. You got to start a new business. And I'm asking you to start a business based on a hobby. What's the hobby and why?
I would definitely probably start a business in music. I spent a lot of years growing up in an Italian family singing, and I actually sang my way through college. I got, vocal scholarships, and, I enjoy playing the guitar, and just music has a special place in my heart, and I enjoy being around it. So like golf, I have the opportunity, and I'm blessed to be able to work in something that I have so much passion for. And so I think I would find something in the music industry because I would have that same level of passion.
So are you a karaoke guy?
I've been known to do some karaoke, but reflecting back on what you could have learned when you were 18 years old is maybe downplay the karaoke a little bit.
All right, Shawn, quick question. Favorite golfer of all time and why?
Favorite golfer of all time. I'm going to go with Tiger. I think what he has done for the game, what he has done individually, what he has done time and time again to overcome adversity. We can get into the ugly stuff, but just his ability to overcome adversity, and people, they can connect to that, right? We're all real people. We make mistakes. And I think he has had an ability to connect to people, and to connect to people that weren't from golf. And so I've never seen anyone that competes like Tiger Woods. It's amazing. It's incredible to watch. And I think I could say that with any sport, right? You can go to the Michael Jordan basketball, and you can go to some of the greatest football players, but I'm going to go with that one because he's done so much for the game. He's given so much to the game, and the guy he's just not going to lose. He's going to figure out a way to overcome that adversity. And I tell you what, I respect that a lot.
So James, I'm going to ask one last question before you ask Shawn to give us some closing thoughts on how people can get a hold of him. I'm a huge Tiger fan as well, and I probably would have answered that the same, although I have a warm place in my heart for Seve Ballesteros. He was my hero growing up. But I look at what Phil Mickelson did. Winning the PGA Championship at 50, just about 51 at the time. I'm wondering if you just have a comment on golf, not as a pro necessarily, but golf into your older years, and what's some of the things. Obviously Phil has worked on his body and on his mind. What are some of the things that people can do as we age that will help us continue to enjoy the game of golf?
Yeah, it's absolutely a lifetime sport. And I talk to many, many, many people that are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, and will tell you they're playing the best golf of their careers. A lot of it has to do with what's between the ears. It's the mental side of it. It's about practicing with purpose. It's about understanding how to play a golf course, how to play a golf hole, right? Think of the short game. From inside 50 yards accounts for at least 50% of every golfer's shots, right? And so from inside 50 yards, it's not about how flexible you are, how strong you are, how fit you are, right? Putting. Anybody can putt, right? You don't have to look like Rory McIlroy or Tiger Woods, the physique of a Brooks Koepka. And so I think it's just practicing with purpose. It's better understanding the game, and you can improve well into your older. I know golfers that are 80 years old and they're shooting their age. They're shooting lower than their age. They're shooting 75, 76. So that's the beauty of this game, is you can compete for a long, long time.
And I will never play with that 80-year-old shooting lower than that. But anyway, and man, you made me cringe for a second, but all shots within 70 to 80 yards of, I hate that distance. Anyway, I got to get better at that. All right, well, Shawn, thanks for being our guest on the Shrimp Tank today. For those listeners who heard something good, they want to reach out, they want to hear more, they want to contact you, what's the best way for them to do that?
I think the best way, just send me an email. It's my first initial and last name, so scucciardi@columbiahospitality.com. I promise I'll respond and strike up a relationship, right? Always looking forward to meet new people.
That's always a good thing. All righty. Well, thanks everyone for checking out the Shrimp Tank today. To catch the replays, you can always go to shrimptankpodcast.com/Seattle. And you can always catch us on your favorite podcast, whether it be iHeart, Apple, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify. As Dan said, hey, we're everywhere. And please follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. And with that, I'll throw it over to you to close it out, Dan.
Shawn, it was great to have you. Great to see you again. I am looking forward. We will get back on the golf course. We'll bring James along, and I will look forward to doing that. Thank you for being on. And actually, what people don't know is he was supposed to be on next week because we had a last minute cancellation. So thank you for that flexibility. That was great. James, again, congratulations on your new city council role, and glad to see you again, and happy holidays to both of you. Everybody will be back next week. Don't know exactly who the guest will be. We'll figure it out by then. Phil Simchich. I know Phil's going to be with me as the co-host, so we'll do that then. But in the meantime, please be safe, be well, be prosperous, putt more for pars, because until next week, the shrimp is back in the tank. So long.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp